Hi, and welcome to Gameday Live, the first ever show on a match day. I've got a very special guest, as always. Mark, I think I speak to
When are
you
they
more
getting
these
here?
days than. Yeah, I think I speak to you more than I speak to anyone else, mate. It's like we're on about 3 or
Jesus
4
Christ, God
podcasts
help
a
you.
week.
God help you.
We're on about 3 or 4 podcasts a week together.
Yeah.
There's been some news coming out today. I don't know if you've seen, Mark. So Jesus is
Yeah.
out with an injury.
Yeah, saw that again. It's very unfortunate. He looked quite sharp in pre-season, looked sharp when he came on last week, but just can't seem to stay fit for any length of time. It's very unfortunate. We know how productive he can be when he is fit, but again, as they say, availability is the best ability, and he doesn't seem to be able to stay available for a prolonged period of time, which is very unfortunate. Just reduces our attacking options. We basically no cover for Havertz now. If that were to happen to him, we'd be kind of throw him on the wingers up there, or I see talks of possibly Eddie Nketiah not actually leaving now. So we'll see what happens on that score. Hopefully the Jesus thing isn't that serious and that he'll be back in action international break. I doubt if it's a groin or a muscle injury, he won't be available next week for the Brighton game. Obviously, we know he's not available tonight. We've roughly a week, maybe 2 weeks after Brighton before we play Spurs away. So hopefully, if it isn't that serious, he might be back in the squad for Spurs away.
Yeah, 100%. You touched on Eddie Nketiah there. Can you see the deal to Forest breaking down due to this injury for Jesus?
It's a possibility. It definitely is a possibility. Now, I don't know how far along that deal is done, if medicals have been booked and all that. I think Arsenal probably would just leave it off for the simple fact if it's one of those, if you want to do deals with Forest again in the future, if you start messing around at the 11th hour, it makes doing another deal with them incredibly difficult. So I would imagine it depends on again how serious Jesus' injury is. If we're talking season long type stuff, then yeah, they probably will keep hold of Eddie. If they're talking he'll be back after the international break, then you're looking, okay, he's going to miss 2 games. We'll write that off and let Eddie go and get in the 30 million or so pounds that Forest have offered for
him. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's another one as well, and this is actually starting to worry me, Mark. So I don't know what your take on this is, but Thomas Partey is seemingly away to have a fitness test.
So I read, yeah. Again, it's similar with Jesus. Only his injuries they don't seem to be 2 or 3 weeks. When Partey gets injured, you're talking 2 or 3 months before you'll see him on the field again. It's not good. Again, like I mentioned over about Jesus, availability is the best ability, and we can't seem to keep Partey fit for 25, 26 games a season. Like Jorginho's an adequate replacement, but he can't do what Thomas Partey can. He's not as dynamic, not as energetic, not as forceful. Obviously, Partey is a huge man. So Jorginho, yes, he's an adequate replacement, but it is a drop off, and there's no point denying it or saying otherwise.
Yeah, completely and utterly agree. My concerns going into the new season, because for me, we're on the brink of greatness, Mark. This team is almost complete. Is very, very close to being complete, and we still have the same players with recurring injuries. I mean, if we look at today, we've got Tommy Tomiyasu obviously out. We've been without Tommy Tomiyasu for periods of time over the last couple of seasons. Jesus, again, another one injured straight away. So that's there. And then if Thomas Partey is having a late fitness test. And Mark, this could cost us going into next season. Well, into this season. I don't know what
Absolutely.
I don't know what your take is. I mean, what would you predict, or what would you like the club to do to address this?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it? I think they probably feel they have it addressed in some ways with Jorginho. If Marino's coming in, which should be done probably early next week, they'll probably look at the idea of playing Declan Rice as a six again. Personally, I don't think it's where we get the best from him.
No, I agree. I agree.
I think we saw that last season in that he's more of a box to box midfielder than a controller from a deep line playmaker or a controller. But that's something they could look at. Look, the party injury absence, it's not a new thing. It's been recurring now for at least 3, if not 4 seasons that he's missed a lot of time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's one of those where we're hoping against hope that this will be the season where all those issues go away and he will be able to stay fit for a prolonged period of time. Again, we're 2 games into the season and there's talk of him being out already. So, and we know as well his record of coming back from international duty is shocking. We have an international break in 2 weeks' time, or next Sunday to go away with their country. So he'll be going away with Ghana, I've no doubt, especially if he gets through these 2 games. And his record when coming back from them is not good for whatever reason. I know we had to reach basically an arrangement with them last summer last season at some stage that he wouldn't go on international duty to protect him. So we'll see what happens there. But it is a worry, as I said, seems to happen when he goes on international duty, as well as the injuries he picks up at Arsenal. He never comes back seemingly 100% ready to go. I don't know what the reason for that is, obviously, but it could just be coincidence. But it seems to be that's the way it happens.
I think, you know something? I think that if you were asking me the questions, I think if I'd have said every single thing that you just said there, it's 100%. It's 100% facts. And when you're so close to getting to where we are, it's just. For me, the club have to address this, Mark. We really, for me personally, I think Thomas Partey would have won us the league if he had been fit the last 2 seasons. I honestly do. And but it's just the same thing. So, I mean, I've been asking for the club to manage the injury-prone players better, so it does not happen. But you can't even legislate this.
No, sometimes it's just in their makeup as well, isn't it? Like, take Kieran Tierney. He went out on loan with Real Sociedad last season and missed a whole pile of games with them as well. Yeah. Sometimes it's just in a player's makeup that they have that tendency to be injury prone. It's unfortunate, especially when they're talented players, that they can miss significant periods of time. But sometimes it's not something the club can do or the player can do. It's just in a player's makeup. And I know it is something I remember reading that when they're talking about signing players going forward, they are going to look for a more robust type of player. Because as I said, we have a number of our players in our squad who just miss too many games. You've mentioned them. They're there with Tommy Asu, Thomas Partey, Gabriel Jesus. Tierney wasn't in the squad last year, but when he has been, he's missed plenty of time. Emil Smith-Rowe, when he was with us, like there's a litany of players there that, for whatever reason, have, I don't know if it's their training methods or again it's just something in their makeup that they miss a lot of time. It's unfortunate, but it's something that, as you said, needs addressing as sooner rather than later. Because the other thing is, a player with a bad injury profile, it's nigh and impossible to move them on as well. No club's going to take a punt on a guy who's going to miss 50-60% of their games. I guarantee if Tierney had played a full season with Sociedad last season, we probably would have been able to use him in that deal for Marino, but because he missed so much time, they were like, no, thank you.
I agree. I think the best that we could do for Kieran Tierney is getting him a move back to Celtic, and it's going to
Yeah,
be, for me,
that's it. Like,
you're maybe talking £5 million. I mean, Brighton
yeah.
have just signed. I can't remember.
O'Reilly,
Yeah, yeah,
Matt O'Reilly, he's a
um,
very good player.
yeah.
No, again,
So that total package could be up to £30 million. So
yeah,
Celtic is, I think, it's the highest ever selling fee in
in,
Scotland.
yeah,
Ever. So I think Kieran Tierney was 25. So yeah, it's
yeah.
if the add-ons are met, O'Reilly will
Yeah.
surpass that. So maybe Celtic will come
Yeah,
back
look,
in.
and they have Greg Taylor at left back at the moment. Tierney would be an upgrade on him, definitely. If, again, the big if with Kieran is, can you stay fit for 80% of the games?
Yeah,
If he can, I'm sure Celtic would bite your hand off to have him back up there.
yeah,
Absolutely. But again, they're going to look at his injury profile. And what they might do is probably a loan, an option if he plays X amount of minutes.
yeah.
I think that might be the best we can get for him.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout. See, a hypothetical question for you then.
Yeah.
And it's two answers. I want for two answers on this, Mark, if you
Yeah.
can. A fully fit Kieran Tierney that was the season, what would his value be? And the Kieran Tierney that we know is injury prone, what is the realistic value for him at this
Yeah,
moment in time?
so I'll take the second part first. I think the max you're going to get for a player like Kieran Tierney with his injury profile is probably somewhere between 5 and 10 million max, absolute max. That's nailed on, absolute nailed. Like you're not getting much more than that. If he was fully fit, you're probably talking around £20 million. You're talking basically 4 times the value that if he was fully fit you'd be getting 4 times what you can currently generate because teams are going to look at his injury profile and go, no, not for me.
Yeah, I would agree. I also think I read somewhere, I could be wrong on this, but he's on £75,000 a week at
Yeah,
Arsenal. And if that's correct, then if he was to go back to Celtic, there's no way Celtic are paying that.
no, not a
That's
chance.
that's
Not a chance.
yeah. I'd be lucky if Celtic actually paid more than £25,000 a
That's what
year.
I'd be thinking. Like I'd say if you looked at Celtic's wage bill, the highest paid player is probably on 35 to 40 max.
Max, yeah, that would
You
be.
know,
I think that's probably a generous end, if I'm being honest.
yeah,
Because Scottish football does not generate the money
no,
that's there. So going into today's lineup, what would be your lineup for today?
yeah. Okay, I think we said this tonight. There's 9 players pick themselves if they're fit, so that includes Thomas Partey. If they're fit, there's 9 guys pick themselves. So you have 2 decisions then to make between your left back, which is Timber, Calafiori, or Zinchenko, and your left winger, whether you go with Martinelli or Trossard. My personal opinion would be to put Timber in at left back. I thought he played very well last week, and I think Villa in Leon Bailey have a very good winger who needs taken care of. I don't think we can risk Zinchenko there, who does a lot of good things against bad opposition, but against a team who have a top winger, I don't think you can risk Zinchenko. I think you need a solid defender there, whether that's Calafiori or Timber. Personally, I think it'll be Timber, given that that's who he went for last week when he made that substitution. In terms of the left wing, I think he'll probably stick with Martinelli, and that's probably what I do. I think Martinelli's on the edge of being really good, if you know what I mean. That it's either the final pass goes wrong, or the last dribble goes wrong, or the shot just goes wide. One of them goes in, or one assist, and he could take off again. Like 2 years ago, he was one of our better players when we had our first real run at a title. Last year, he did take a step back. Definitely, there's no doubt about that. If he can reclaim the form or refine the form of 2 seasons ago, he's a brilliant attacker. Absolutely brilliant. One of the best left wingers in the league. And I don't think I'm over egging the pudding when I say that. But again, he suffered last year with injuries, missed time. So we need him to find his form and fitness again and get back to the levels of 2 seasons ago. If he does, Arsene Wenger used to always say about injured players coming back. It's like a new signing. I hate using that term, but that's essentially what you're hoping to get from Martinelli, that he form of 2 seasons ago. And if he does, great. If he doesn't, Trossard's there, but probably conversations will probably need to be had in January or the summer. Looking, we know there's talk there. Nico Williams. We'll see if that happens there. Be great if it did. Was absolutely outstanding in the Euros, but I think it's a bit far-fetched at the moment.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if Eddie Nketiah is actually on the bench today. I think that'll give us a fair understanding of what's happening. Just going back to like Jesus' injury, and we know he's out. If we try to look at it in a way that we need to do something to protect, if anything happens to Havertz during the game and he has to come off, who could we put on to replace him if Eddie's not there? So would starting Trossard on the left wing and possibly keeping Martinelli as a substitute just in case anything happens?
You could do that. Like, Trossard's played as a false 9 before as well. A couple of seasons ago. It's probably kind of much as Trossard and Martinelli are very like for like. Their skill sets are very, very similar. So it'll be one or the other. As you said, if Eddie's there, he'll probably go straight in for if that, God forbid, that happens to Havertz. But if not, then I think it'll be either Trossard or Martinelli operating as that kind of false 9, if you like.
Yeah, false 9. I would agree with that. And just on the last question, there was a fantastic moment 2 seasons ago at Villa Park where Jorginho hit the bar ahead of Martinez and went in. I would have loved one of them again today, 100%. But if we are in a position where we are having to give Thomas Partey a late fitness test, is it wise for the club just to say you're sitting this one out and put Jorginho into that role instead?
Probably is. If a guy, it's one of those when you read about Razzie Erasmus and the South African team that won the Rugby World Cup a few years ago, and he had a policy about injured players. And he was Chesson Colby got injured and couldn't train. I think it was the week before the semi-final. He had a policy: if you can't train the week before, you're not playing on the Saturday. But by the Wednesday, it was fine. But he still left him out of the team because he said, I can't lose face with the rest of the group if I start a guy who hasn't trained all week. So if it's one of those, I don't know if Partey's trained all week, if this is something that only flared up yesterday. But for me, no manager ever goes, thank God I started that injured player. None. It very rarely works out where you go, that was a really good decision to start that guy who was injured. So for me, if you have a doubt, we have covered there with Jorginho. Pick Jorginho and deal with, if Partey's fit for Brighton, brilliant. But if he's not ready to go, then taking a risk and having him out for 4 to 6 weeks, as we said earlier, when he gets injured, he never misses one game. He misses a period of time. So if you're having doubts that about his availability, about his fitness, you're probably better off not risking him. There's, if we can get away with him only missing one game, be a first time for everything, brilliant. And we take that chance today. It is a risk. You want to go to Villa Park with all your best players available. We have another tough game next week, though. And then come back from the international break. We've 2 more very tough games. So we've been given a gauntlet to start the season, really. So we need all our players fit and available for all these games. So, if you have a doubt about a player, leave him out and try and get him back as quickly as possible, rather than forcing him onto the pitch. And then after 25 minutes going, he's not ready, and now he's out for 4 or 6 weeks. So, but look, Mikel Arteta knows a hell of a lot more about managing football teams than I do. So,
just quickly before we go on to the next question, and hopefully we'll get some callers coming in. I'm just going to read out the halftime results. It's Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 0. Fulham. Yep. Fulham 1, Leicester City 1. ESR scoring. there. Good to see.
In my fantasy team.
Yep. Have you got them in there? I don't.
Yeah.
Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1. Ipswich actually took the lead in that game, I believe.
Yeah, Sammy Smoddix,
Yep.
Ireland international.
Another Bourfest, Southampton 0, Nottingham Forest 0.
Yeah. No wonder they want Eddie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the last one is them 2, Everton 0.
I'm not sure if you've seen any of the goals for the goals in the Ipswich West Man City game. The keeper is absolutely shocking for 2 of them, and Pickford made an absolute howler for the second Spurs goal. So, any of you who don't have access to this match of the day tonight, you'll see absolute howlers from keepers in both of those games.
I'll have to watch it. And we must touch on it.
We must cover the earlier game, yeah, of course.
Yeah, we must. It would be absolutely rude not to. So, Brighton 2, Manchester United 1, a 95th minute winner for Brighton. Danny Welbeck scoring his 100th Premier League goal. Your thoughts on that, and do you want to just quickly break it down a bit?
Yeah.
Try not to spray on Mark.
Yeah, no, I'm devastated. First half's fairly even. Brighton scored a good goal. Very good cross from João Pedro. No one dealt with it. Matoma picked up the back post, rolled it across, and kind of Welbeck finished it, kind of scuffed it in nearly. So it was 1-0 Brighton at half time. Second half, United started a bit better, come out a bit better. Ahmad Diallo scored a good goal, took a deflection, but it was probably going in. So it will stay with him, I would imagine. Then United thought they took the lead, but it turns out Xerxes was in an offside position, standing on the goal line as Garnacho hit it off him. The ball that was going into an empty net, but it hit Xerxes on the way in. So VAR got involved, disallowed it, still 1-1. Then the winning goal for Brighton, corner came across, wasn't really dealt with, got played back to Adindra, crossed to the back post, 3 Brighton defenders with no United player near them, and João Pedro headed it in from about 4 yards out. It was comical defending, to be honest with you, but nothing that we haven't come to see or expect from Manchester United under Eric Ten Hag. They have Liverpool next week at home. If he loses that, the pressure will come on again, I would imagine. Obviously the new owners tried to out him at the end of last season, couldn't find an adequate replacement. They will now be looking, I would suggest, again, if they lose to Liverpool next week at home, that the knives would be out again, I would imagine.
They do have Ruud van Nistelrooy now in their coaching setup. So
they do, yeah.
Could you see if that was the case and they were going to get rid of Ten Hag, that Ruud would be a possibility?
Yeah, it's the obvious one, really, isn't it? Given he's already there, has been working with these players since probably June or July, I would imagine. So yeah, if they are making a move on Ten Hag, it's the obvious one to bring in Van Nistelrooy, even if it's an interim role or whatever they want to call it. A lot of these moves are made during the international breaks as well, or just after the last game before an international break, that they decide to pull the plug on a manager if they're going to do that. So, as you said, Van Nistelrooy is already there as the assistant or whatever his exact role is. I don't know, but it's probably the obvious thing to do if you're Man United. Just again, Van Nistelrooy probably a club legend, so he'd have the fans on board right away. Now we saw with Solskjaer that doesn't carry much weight for very long. So if results don't turn very quickly, especially if they only give him an interim role, they'll ship him out very quickly as well.
Yeah. And very last question on Man United is, what do you think was worse? Garnacho's miss last week or the open goal today where he hits it?
Yeah,
honestly, if you haven't seen it, guys, just please go and watch it.
Yeah. No, the miss last week was worse because it was an actual mistake. Today was kind of just unlucky or unfortunate. No, and the other side of it is last week the miss cost them absolutely nothing. They still got 3 points. Today they turned the win into a loss after it. So, um, yeah, I suppose from a technical or skill point of view, what he did last week was worse. From an actual end result point of view, today was definitely worse.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But two absolute howlers, in my opinion. He should be
Absolutely.
sitting. Yeah,
But yeah,
he should be sitting on two
and
goals. And
yeah,
for me, the fact that he's sitting on zero is just comical. Going back to the Villa game, just before we get calls coming in, going back to the Villa game, who do you see as their main danger men today, Mark?
yeah. Look, I suppose the obvious one to go for straight away is Ollie Watkins. Is now he's one of the top scorers in the league last season. Has done well against Arsenal in the past. Scored at the Emirates last season. Scored at Villa Park the season before last. So he's definitely a danger and a guy we have to be conscious of and try to take care of. Last week they got a goal from a set piece from Onana, so we've been good at defending set pieces generally. So, but again, that's just something we have to be conscious of. It's the most horrible way I find to concede a goal. It always feels cheap when you concede from a set piece. So, just to be conscious of that, there's a few big bodies with him, with Konza, with Pau Torres, big guys who are going to be capable of causing problems at set pieces. But again, Watkins is the main guy for them, isn't he? Like, I don't know exactly how many goals he scored last season, but he was absolutely pivotal to them getting into the Champions League spots. And in the Euros, he looked far more dangerous than Harry Kane ever did for England in any of those games when Southgate decided to spring him from the bench. So a guy, he looks sharp and someone that we'll have to be conscious of. Got minutes under his belt last week. Again, he's probably still in a bit of pre-season mode because he's probably not back that long from the Euros. We saw that with some of our players last week as well. Just not quite sharp yet. So having those, I think he played 75 odd minutes last week. So he's their main man. And a guy that we have to be extremely conscious of.
I would 100% agree with that. Midfield, have you been impressed with Tielemans for Villa?
More so with what he did at Leicester. I think at Villa last season he was kind of in and out of the team. Douglas Luiz obviously was there last season. He's not there now. But he was very impressive at Leicester I think he was there for 3 or 4 seasons. Probably a season under his belt, you'll see progress this season, an improvement in him. He took that corner last week that led to the goal for Onana. He's a very good player to actually just control a game and just keep the ball ticking over. Yeah, he's not a box-to-box type player. He's kind of similar to Jorginho in a lot of ways in that he does his job. His job isn't to win loads of tackles. It's not to go box-to-box, but it is keep the ball, get on the ball, demand the ball off our back four and get it to our attacking players. He does that job very well.
Yeah, no, definitely, and completely not agree with that. That's the lines open. There's nobody coming in yet. The Brave, you were in the chat there, bro. If you want to jump up, even for a few minutes, and we'll ask you some questions.
We should get the teams about 15 minutes.
We've got G in the chat.
Afternoon, G.
Good afternoon. If you want to come up, G, and just give a little take, then feel free.
Even if you want to talk about Plymouth, G, you can.
Going back to the Man City game, did you have any hopes at all when?
Stupidly, yes. It's one of those. Geez, if they hold on for another 10 minutes here, even if they get to half time at 1-0, then within 5 minutes they're giving away a penalty, and then the keeper makes 2 howlers. It's 3-1 at half time.
Yeah.
So.
Mark, I remember going back many years ago. It was the World Cup in the 80s, and Scotland were playing Brazil.
We didn't qualify for World Cups in the 80s, so I don't remember.
And David Neary, he played for Dundee United, and he scored a toe poke, and it was a screamer straight into the top corner. And straight after that, we had as soon as he done that, we just annoyed Brazil, and they came out and hammered us. We do have our first caller, so I'm going to bring him in. And Mark, if you have some questions that you want to ask, Leandro, welcome to the live podcast, bro. You're our very first caller. Mark is my co-host. He'll ask you a few questions, bro. But first of all, how are you? Oh, Leandro.
Are you on mute or?
Yeah, I think you're on mute, bro. Leandro, you there? Leandro, if you could hear us, fix your mic and then just jump back on, bro.
Yeah. False start. We'll get going again.
Start. We will get going again. We'll get going again. Sorry, what's your score predictions for today?
I said 2-1 during the week, so I think I'm going to stick with that.
Even with the injuries?
Yeah, I go with the same. I think same goal scorers as last week as well, Havertz and Saka. So that's my hope and my prediction. It's not just a hope. There's a bit of conviction behind it as well. So, yeah. I think, look, everyone I suppose we're going to talk about how we owe Villa 2 from last season, not just one. We actually owe them 2. So, I think it is one of those. You don't want a team to become your bogey team. I mentioned this when I was on with Liam last night. Was it last night or Thursday? Whatever night I was on with Liam, we talked about we can't let Villa or any team become a bogey team for us. So that's why I think nip this in the bud tomorrow or tonight, and just get that kind of any thoughts of Villa being a bogey team for Arsenal just getting killed this evening. Because if they beat us this evening, when we play them at the Emirates, that'll be all the talk again. So just kill that narrative this evening, get the victory, come back with the 3 points. Look, the thing is, you can't be losing ground to City after getting week 2 either. You know, that's the other side of it. You know, but as I said, we've been handed a gauntlet to start the season, so we have to rack up points. We have the form team in the league next Saturday, and then after that we go to Tottenham and go to Man City. So, you know, it's of the first 5 games, we've 3 teams that finished in the top 5 last season away from home, along with Brighton who've won their first 2 games. So let's see.
We have Leandro back. Leandro, is your mic working? Still technical issues. Leandro, is your mic working, bro? Do you want to come through? No, I don't know what's going on with these.
Hear you perfectly.
I'll send them on. Oh, I can hear you now. I can hear you now, bro. There we are. How are you, bro?
Can you hear me?
We can indeed.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I could hear you guys perfectly. Yeah, I can hear you guys. I can see you guys. But I just couldn't. I don't know why it's acting up.
Leandro, have you got something on in the background? I'm getting feedback coming from you.
No. I don't know why my thing is.
Probably a delay.
Is it okay?
Should I leave and come back? I don't know what to do.
It's not too bad, mate. Mark's my co-host, so he's just he'll ask you a few questions, bro, and we'll get your opinion.
Yeah. So, Leandro, first things first, welcome. Okay, you've gone.
Hopefully we get back on. I don't know what's happened there. It's almost like I done this once, Mark, where I was getting so much feedback, and it was actually on YouTube and also on the link at the same point. So I was just wondering if Leandro had done that.
If he mutes his YouTube that he's watching us on.
So it was possibility that it was that. I ended up leaving the stream and I just couldn't figure it out. And then eventually I realised that like I had YouTube running in the background. So
Yeah,
it was, there was just a lot. So we'll wait and see if he obviously comes back on. Yep, he's here now. So we'll just get him up. Hi, Leandro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that is perfect. That's perfect.
A lot better.
I don't know what's happening to my phone, man. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm really sorry.
Don't worry about it.
No, it's all right, mate.
Yeah, so
Do you want to ask?
Yeah, go ahead, Leandro. Okay. Yeah, so do you have any thoughts or even team predictions for tonight's game, Leandro?
Do you have any thoughts or predictions?
Hi. Did you hear us okay, mate?
first of all, I just want to.
Did you hear us okay?
Yeah, my phone is just.
Yeah.
Hello?
Leandro, do you have... No, he's dropped it down again. He's obviously having technical issues. He's obviously having technical issues, so we'll see if we can get him back on. It shouldn't be too long to the lineups come out.
Yeah, about 5 or 6 minutes. So.
Is it normally an hour before the game? Or
No, an hour and 15. They've changed it this season.
Right, have they? Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember the reasoning behind it, but I remember seeing they've brought it forward by 15 minutes. So we should hear it in the next 10, 12, next 5, 6 minutes. We should get the team.
I didn't know they changed it this year, but was there no reasons why for it, no?
There was. I just can't remember exactly what they were. If anyone in the chat knows what the reasons were, please share them.
Well, there is breaking news. Now Arsenal, who they are quite good for when it comes to lineups, are breaking that Timber starts today.
Okay. Yeah. So I'd imagine that's straight in for Zinchenko.
Yep. No, 100%. Which is we did touch on that.
Yeah, we did.
Have they came up with any more? More breaking news 18 minutes ago. While we were on stream, Fabrizio has just dropped that here we go for Vieira to Porto. And we do have our first caller coming on. Oh. Hello, Debray. How are you, bro?
I'm all good. How you doing?
We're good. We're good. You're our second caller. Our first one had technical issues, but we've got a few questions for you, bro.
Yeah, go for it, mate. Go for it.
Yeah. So, all right, Bray, Mark here.
Mark.
Just Bray, Mark's just broken that Timber will start tonight. Are you happy enough with that?
Yeah. I think it was to be expected. I think. Yeah, he offers that little bit of assurance and a bit more solidity at the back.
Yeah, completely agree. I presume it's in for Zinchenko, but that'll be confirmed in the next few minutes. Obviously, no Gabriel Jesus available this evening. It's starting to get a bit frustrating with him and his availability issues, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a never kind of issue, isn't it? Really, it's just you go through a kind of period where he's available, doesn't play, or he's say on the bench, and then has a breakdown. It's a similar issue to multiple players over the last few seasons, really. Very frustrating. But look, these little things happen, and like as I say, when you're trying to step up the intensity of training, you might get these little niggles, and maybe just felt something. So it might not be a long issue, but again, if you obviously feel that kind of that issue on in your muscles, then best to be erring on the side of caution with all what's coming ahead of us.
Absolutely. And just on that, do you think that might or will have any knock-on effect to the sale of Eddie Nketiah to Nottingham Forest?
I imagine it will probably go to the wire. I think that will be it. I think we've obviously got a target that we've probably got in mind, but it will go on till the last dregs of the transfer window, in my opinion. I said that last week. I think it'll probably go on and on and on, and then it'll be one of those Mesut Ozil kind of fax machine kind of like offers or kind of like contract signings right at the last minute. So
Right.
yeah, I think it will kind of affect probably the quickness in it, but I don't think it will affect maybe our target that we're probably trying to get in.
Yeah, agreed. Because obviously Arsenal will do an assessment on Jesus and just check the long-term or short-term effect of that injury. And before you go, any predictions for the game this evening? I know you gave it the other night, so I shouldn't be asking again.
Yeah, I'm still going with 2-1. I'm gonna shy away from my prediction of 3-1, but that was only because I wanted to see a Martinez own goal. But I'm a realist, so it's not going to happen again. I'll tell you what, if it does, I'm buying everyone a drink.
Hang on, we've all heard that. If you're in the chat, you heard that as well.
Yeah, you heard that on first. Breaking news. So if it obviously happens, then I'll be out of the country or something like somewhere. You won't see me again.
Your holiday will get extended.
But 2-1. I'm going for on that side. So just looking forward to have the team news. Is that the only? I'm literally in a field at the minute. So
that's the only thing we've heard so far.
We don't know.
We should hear confirmation in the next 2 minutes, but
so
as of now,
2-1 all day long, I think.
Perfect. Thanks a million, sir. Thanks for coming on. We'll let you get back to your holiday.
Cheers, mate. Lovely. All right, have a good show.
Okay.
See you later.
Thanks.
No worries. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, and I'm having technical issues, and I've got Leandro there. Oh, man. I knew this would happen. There we go. Leandro, how are you, bro? No, he's dropped again. He's having major technical issues. We'll see if he comes back on. I'm just waiting to see it should be in the next minute for the lineups. So hopefully that drops shortly. After show as well, straight after the game. So if anyone is in the chat and you want to get involved, then please do. Here we go. Arsenal have just dropped, and team news. Timber starts at the back. Rice features in midfield. Saka out wide. Let's see the team news.
Yeah, that's the only change from last week. Timber in for Zinchenko. Yeah.
Okay, so the VR so it is
on the pitch.
Right, excellent. What do you make of that? Is it what you expected?
More or less
is
unexpected lines.
Is Eddie on the bench?
He is, yeah. And
that is
the team is Martinez, Cash, Konza, Pau Torres, Luka Dean, Onana, Tielemans, McGinn, Bailey, Rogers, and Watkins. So they're same again from last week. That beat West Ham 2-1. So not a surprise really that they've stuck with the team that beat West Ham last week. So
yep. I wasn't overly impressed with them last week, Mark,
no,
if I'm being honest.
I was travelling back, so I only really saw Match of the Day, where you only get a snippet really of what actually happened. From what I did see, West Ham could have got something out of the game. They had a very good chance at the end from Souček at least to get a draw out of it. So Villa probably, they weren't overly impressive. But again, I don't think any team really was last week. I think there's a lot of teams, because of the short pre-season, it's going to take them 2-3 weeks to get up to speed. I think nearly every team, I won't say treated last week like a pre-season friendly, but it nearly was a pre-season friendly. A lot of teams haven't had their first 11 together by the time they hit the field last week. So it'll be very interesting to see today if you see improvements. I think you've seen an improvement from Man City already. Now they were gifted 2 goals by the Ipswich goalkeeper. Don't get me wrong, but they looked a bit sharper today than they did last week. Man United are no improvement. They are what they are. But, and again, I haven't seen any of the other goals or games. The only goal I saw was that gift Pickford gave Son. So I just think it's something that we'll have to keep an eye on over the next couple of weeks, that teams getting back up to speed, back up to normal match sharpness levels. I think it won't be... It's the same after every tournament, I suppose. You have that little bit of first couple of games, just everyone finding their feet again.
Absolutely. Well, Andrew, are you there, mate?
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes. Sorry, man. My phone. I just
No
turned it
problem.
on.
Yeah, we can hear
problem.
you. Technical issues my side as well, so it's sure you get away with a couple of technical issues, Andrew. But thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate your time. Mark's just going to run through some questions for you, mate. The team news has obviously came out. Mark, over to you, mate.
That's it, Leandro. We've just seen the team there, Timber in for Zinchenko. Are you happy enough with that change?
Yes, that's the only change I wanted to see from our last game.
Yeah. So you're very happy with the team pick, so that's, as I said, I'm along those lines as well. I was expecting it and happy to see that it's happened. Obviously, just a couple of things. Gabriel Jesus obviously is out injured again. That's getting a bit frustrating, isn't it? The amount of time he's missing. He seems to kind of play 3 weeks and miss 4. So obviously Eddie's on the bench today to cover that forward spot, but it is getting a bit frustrating with Gabby Jesus, isn't it?
Yeah. I saw the news like a few hours ago. I was gutted, the same as everyone else. But I'm not throwing my toys out of the pram. In fact, actually, I have a lot of chips on the table on Gabriel Jesus. I think this is going to be redemption. Mark is back. Mark, before my thing crashes, let me just say congratulations on this podcast. I don't think there's a better person, seriously, to speak Arsenal.
It's the first. I appreciate that. I'm hosting this one, and I've got one after the game as well. Debray, who spoke to you just before, who spoke just before you came on. He is the owner of the channel, and he does a fantastic job. The graphics for the after show is absolutely brilliant. He's done an absolutely amazing with it, and I'm having technical issues with my laptop, so he is an IT genius. So the brave you are still listening, my laptop might be working its way on its way down to you to get sorted, bro.
Congratulations on this. I love. You can just tell when Gooners, when real Gooners are in the building, and yeah, man, I could hear you talk Arsenal. I know your passion goes through you. You just anything that's Arsenal, you can talk for hours. You're just that guy. I know that the right intentions are behind all this, and good on you. I'm sure it's only a matter of time until you're too big for us, and we're going to be saying, "Yo, I went on that. I was on the first episode of that podcast."
I'm not quite sure about. I'm not quite sure about that.
Yeah. So let me just say one thing. I'm really worried about the ecosystem around Arsenal. You, Mark, you're always mentioning, and rightfully so, that the fan base that goes to the fan base at the Emirates is completely different to the fan base online.
Absolutely.
And I understand that. However, I feel like my concern is a mix of both. So the present fans on the stadium, I really want us to be the difference this year. I want us to be the 12th man, because I feel like when it comes down to the small margins between us and City, our fan base, our history, our culture should weigh on top of those people. They should feel like, fuck, here comes the Arsenal brigade. So I really want our fans to be up for every game. And my feeling is that at times at the Emirates, there's this feeling where the pendulum could swing. If they score, the crowd is going to be fucking down and upset. But if we score, it's hooray, we're going to win the league. I feel it's the same coming to this game, because Villa beat us twice last year. I feel like there's still a bit of nerves. There's going to be some nerves for the players and the fans. And I don't want that to play a part in the game. I want us to fucking forget it and just come in. And even if we concede a goal, I want us to celebrate it just as much as they do. You know, I want us to keep our heads up high for the 90 minutes. Outside, the fans outside that are worrying me are, this is a difficult game away from home. We could easily be in a situation, Mark, where both of you are Marks,
Yeah.
we could easily be in a situation where we're go down, there's 15 minutes to go, we look on the bench, Trossard comes in, we look around, there is nobody fucking else. And with Eddie Nketiah going, with Gabriel Jesus injured, the fans are going to be dying on this. We need a forward. There's 7 days to go. These next 7 days are going to be chaotic if we are one goal short in this game. And I don't want to, I'm done with this transfer shit. I want this to end. I want to be fully locked in with the season. I am tired. And I'm really worried that we drop the ball and these animals come out and collect, you know?
That's actually a good take, and I've got a couple of questions, and I'm sure Mark's possibly got a couple more as well. But my first question is if the Jesus injury stops Eddie Nketiah getting his move to Nottingham Forest, do you think that the online fan base will explode?
Yeah, I think the online fan base, especially when it pertains to the striker situation, they have one narrative, and everything that's happening, it just feeds into their narrative, right? So their narrative is we need a forward, and with the Gabriel injury, it's just gonna make them say, "You see, he's injured. It always happens. We need a forward right now." With Eddie Nketiah leaving, oh, Eddie's gone. We need to replace him. We don't have an out-and-out striker. Everywhere you turn for the online narrative is we need a forward. You know, so everything that happens is just going to be, they're going to direct the narrative. Would I mind a forward? No, if Gabriel is out and Eddie's sold, like you said, I think we're already thin as it is. You know how I feel about our squad. If Gabriel Jesus is unavailable, I'm counting on Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli to make up for the 5 goals that Eddie scored last year. If both are gone, then we desperately need to put in someone, even if it's just to make up 5 goals, because we're going to be very, very short, you know?
Yeah.
Agreed.
You said that brilliant. And one of the takes that I took there that came into my head when you were speaking there, Leandro, was it's almost like we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. So regardless, we're going to get this online fan base reaction. The next question I was going to ask you, that there was a weight fitness test for Thomas Partey. He's obviously passed it. Would you have, known his track history of injuries, would you have been tempted to keep Thomas Partey out of the side just because obviously there must be some issue there and bringing Jorginho? Or are you delighted that, do you know what, we'll go with it, he's passed the fitness test, so he goes straight into the side? What's your take on that, mate?
Yeah, listen, I think Partey is the difference between us winning and losing a title, the Premier League titles. It's obvious to me that he's the difference. Yeah. He's the one piece that is stopping us from winning. I think we should wrap him in cotton the same way we've been doing for fucking 2 years. Sorry, for 2 years, right? For 2 years, we've been wrapping this guy in cotton. Games like this is where I need Partey. This is my thing with Partey. I love Partey. I'm African. I'm biased towards African people. You know this. But this season, no more of this. This season, he has to play for his contract. This season, he has to play for everything. If he cannot play, no problem, Partey. But this is it. I don't want to hear anything anymore. He's fit, he plays. And if he's fit, he plays. We're winning 2-0, 70th minute, you take him out and you wrap him in cotton again. That's how it is with Partey. We wrap him in cotton until we win, and then we decide whether we extend his deal for a year or two, and then we bring in someone else. But this Partey conversation, we cannot have everything depending on Partey for 3 years out of this 5 years at Arsenal. This is madness. So with Partey, it's either you're playing or you're not, and we need to know. It would be great if we knew in August, because I'm done with this Partey nonsense.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Mark, obviously, have you got any other questions before we go to score predictions?
Yeah, no, I think we've covered it all there, Leandro. Really, it's great to have you on. Mark's going to ask you for a prediction now in a minute anyway, so I won't bother. But yeah, no, great to have you on and great to get your input.
Yeah. What's your score prediction, Leandro?
You know, I would never fucking bet against the Arsenal. Never in my mother's life. I'm always, we can play Jesus Christ and his 12 disciples. I will pick Arsenal. So I'm going for that cheeky 2-1 victory. And yeah, up the Arsenal, man. Let's go.
Brilliant, Leandro. Leandro, I'm going to be doing a post-match show, so you're more than welcome if you want to jump back on again.
Send me a link on DM, and I will jump back on.
No worries, mate. I really appreciate your call, bro.
No worries. Thank you for having me. Really, congratulations, Mark. And I'm sending you all my good energy. I hope the thing with these things is consistency. You know, consistency is really where it's at. So if you remain consistent, you will have at least one listener. I got you.
Yeah, the Bray. I promise you, the Bray will definitely be making sure that I am consistent and demanding that there is plenty of shows. So that will happen. So back on tonight, mate, and we're also back on tomorrow night as well for the big Sunday show. But thanks so much for coming on, mate.
No worries. Let me know. Mark, nice to meet you, man. And
you too, sir. You too. Thanks for coming on.
No worries.
Just to give guys a couple of score updates. Southampton have gone 1-0 up at Southampton. Nottingham Forest, sorry, gone 1-0 up on Southampton. Morgan Gibbs White and West Ham are 2-0 up now in Crystal Palace. Jared Bowen and Thomas Soucek with the first one.
Brilliant. Leandro, just before you go, could you just shout out your Twitter handle? Just we'll get to hopefully some followers for you.
Oh, legend. My Twitter handle is it's very long. It's SAMUQUINDA_L. Just type Leandro or go to Mark and go his spaces. I am in every single Mark space. If you go on the list of spaces on Twitter, you will see my fat face there. And yeah,
it's not far, but you're the top man, Leandro. I really appreciate you coming on, bro. Thanks so much. Yep, that was good. Guys, I was kind of hoping to keep this going for a little bit longer. Mark, you're going to be dropping off soon, aren't you?
Yeah, I have to head off. So again, thanks a million for having me on, Mark. Great to be on the first one. So hopefully this is a sign of things to come, and there'll be many more of these in the future. Obviously I won't be on when we're at home due to my commitments actually at the Emirates. But for away games, I'll try to.
Yeah, Mark, you stop throwing in. If you're at the Emirates, this is the show that we're trying to bring. Match-going fans, if you're outside the Emirates, even if it's noisy, we're going to get the atmosphere and pick up the atmosphere and bring it in. So if you have like 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever, it would be fantastic if you jump on, bro.
Stuff.
So if I don't get any more callers coming in, I'm going to end this one. It is slightly shorter. It's been an hour, but it is the starting point, I guess, and we will definitely be back. Well, I will definitely be back, possibly not Mark, after the game. But
no, probably not tonight, Oris.
Yeah, too many shows, Mark.
Exactly.
Mark, just for the record, I think I done 4 shows last week, and I think you did as well, Mark, didn't you?
Something similar to that, all right, yeah. So
yeah, it was almost one every single day. So I had a break on Thursday and Friday.
yeah.
But that was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then obviously 2 today, and then I'm back on again tomorrow night. So it is
you're a busy man.
Yeah, no, it's great speaking to people like you, Mark, and it's always fantastic having you on. Do you want to shout out your where people could find you? Because Mark,
my Twitter handle is Dunning Mark. That's the best place to find me. Yeah, that's it really. And you can find me here every so often, or on one of the other shows I'm on. So yeah, all good.
Right, brilliant, absolutely superb, Mark, and thanks for everybody jumping on and tuning in. I will be back straight after, literally straight after the game today. to get the aftermath of the game. So please come back after the game and we'll talk Arsenal and talk about the performance, good or bad. And last thing to say, up the Arsenal.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Mark. Cheers, mate.
Thank you. No,
Bye. Bye.